busy people getting fit in Fulshear, Texas. Our aim is to help you look better, feel better, and perform better as quickly as possible. I'm your host, Bryan White with Blue Eagle Fitness and Nutrition. Welcome.
Hey, how's your day going, Bryan?
Well, I'm actually having a terrible day, a rough day. I have been battling panic attacks since the wee hours of the morning. So I wanted to have this podcast about panic attacks and what they are, what the symptoms are, what the meaning behind them is, and then what you can do about them.
Okay, so you said since the wee hours of this morning, so it sounds like you woke up in a panic attack.
Yes, yeah. So I woke up from presumably a dream that I don't remember. I dream all the time, so I'm assuming it was a bad dream that might have set it off. That's the other thing about a panic attack is that sometimes a specific event can set it off, but not always. Sometimes, and we live in this society and we want to be, these driven people. I'd be described as kind of a driven person sometimes, and lots of things on my plate or balls in the air, however you want, whatever metaphor you want to use. And it was just the overwhelming oppressiveness of my feelings, I guess is how I would describe it. And so I woke up probably 2:30, 3 in the morning, with shortness of breath, sweating, body ache, can't get comfortable, feeling somewhat nauseous, hands are numb, heart rate is through the roof. I'm laying in bed, but as I get up, I realize I'm now dizzy. So, fortunately, this is not the first time it's happened to me or to people in my life. And I've, at this point, recognized the symptoms. I've been aware of panic attacks for over 20 years before panic attacks were even known by people. I didn't know them as panic attacks, but I knew that this person was going through a lot of these similar issues, and that we went to the doctor, and there was no diagnosis. They couldn't find, quote unquote, anything wrong, right? And so through the years, I've gotten pretty good, I think, at recognizing when it happens.
You know why I think this is such a great conversation for us to have is because I experienced this one time and I took myself to the ER
Okay.
because I thought I was having a heart attack.
Yes.
And I called my husband on the way. I said, I'm driving myself to the ER. And he was like, what? And they ran every test like they do, right?
Yep.
And guess what they said? You're a perfectly healthy girl. We don't see anything wrong. And
Yep.
so I think this is a really good thing to talk about because there's a difference between a panic attack and a heart attack. And
Big difference.
when do I need to go to
Big
the ER? And when do I need to do some deep breathing or maybe some other techniques that we can talk about?
Yep.
Because I didn't know the difference. I thought
Yeah.
I can't breathe. Feels like someone's standing on my chest and I need to, and I was at the gym at the time. This was many years ago, a different gym, not your gym, many years ago. And I didn't recognize the difference.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty common for people to think of a panic attack as a heart attack. At least for me, there was no tightness in the chest, right? That would be the number one sign of a heart attack. There was no tightness in the chest. But also recognizing, well, the first treatment for a panic attack is recognizing it for what it is. It is a panic attack, which is your body, like not mind, not soul, like just your body's way of responding to what it thinks or it perceives as overwhelming stress. Now your mind, and that this is the key difference. Your mind may not think that you are overwhelmingly stressed, but your body does. And that's where a lot of this confusion can happen. You know, someone can ask you, do you feel stressed? Do you think you're stressed? Oh no, I'm fine. Right? And this is your body's way of saying, screw that. We're not fine. Right? And so that's where at least for me, the shortness of breath, the heart racing, I get warm saliva in my mouth. And I just like, I don't feel good. I can't control it. So the first treatment is recognizing that your body may be feeling like it's in a life or death scenario, but I am physically not endangered, right? I'm fine. I'm physically, nothing is attacking me in this moment. And so the first step is recognizing that it is a panic attack, and we can solve this problem in the short term, in the medium term, and the long term. But I am not physically under attack right now.
Okay, so when you woke up and you said you had these symptoms,
Yeah.
and you tried to get out of bed and you said you felt dizzy.
Yeah.
So what did you do at that point?
Yeah. So I recognized that I was having a panic attack. And the first thing that I did was I went to my meditative breathing practice.
Okay,
I've, uh,
which
I
is
do
what?
I do box breathing.
Okay.
Box breathing is there are many different forms of breath work. Box breathing is kind of the simplest.
Can we
So
do it? Let's do it.
we can do it. So we're going to
Okay.
breathe in for 3 seconds. We're going to hold our breath in for 3 seconds. We're going to let it out for 3 seconds. Then we're going to hold our breath for 3 seconds.
Okay,
Okay.
can you walk us through it and
Yeah.
do it? Let's do it together.
Okay. So here are the steps because I can't explain the steps as we do it because I've got to breathe. Okay. So we're going to breathe in for 3 seconds. We're going to
Okay.
hold that breath inside for 3 seconds. We're going to let it out for 3 seconds. And then after we've pushed the breath out, we're not going to breathe again for 3 seconds. Okay. So let's do each round takes 12 seconds. Let's do 2 rounds. It's 24 seconds total. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That's our 3x3 box breathing. And there's 3x3, 4x4, there's 2x4. I mean, you can mix it up. But the first is and when we can take the breath, the way that's one of the ways we can communicate with our body, especially our lungs and our heart, that I can breathe. Right? I mean, you think about what's the one thing that if we take away will kill you the fastest? Oxygen. We take
Right.
oxygen away, boom, you're dead. Right? So the first thing we're
Yeah.
going to do is tell our bodies we can breathe. We can breathe. And we're going to tell ourselves that by actually doing this box breathing. Okay?
I love that. That's awesome. I feel my shoulders came way down when I did that just now. And I didn't even feel like I was stressed to begin with.
Last week I did my annual physical, and as because I'm old now, I'm older than 45. So I do the stress test on the
Okay.
treadmill, and
Hmm.
got in I did my test lasted 21 minutes. I went the full distance. Um, and trying to get when we were done, we practiced. And I say we, the nurse was there watching my heart rate. And we could, with me not trying to control my breath, my heart rate stayed up pretty high. I went through, and for this exercise, I did a 4x4 box breathing exercise for 3 rounds, and my heart rate plummeted. Right, I mean, it went from high to back to normal quickly. I mean, within 16, 32, 48 seconds. In 48 seconds, we got my heart rate down very quickly with our breath, with our breath. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
first. That was the first thing that I did in the moment, right? I mean, so we're talking about short term, medium term, and long term. Short term, how do we need to get our bodies out of that fight or flight mode to let our bodies know that we are in a safe place. And so we're going to do that through breathing. The second thing is that I'm going to start repeating a mantra. And well, let me back up. I'm going to do my box breathing. And as I'm doing my box breathing, my second step is to focus on my breath. So during COVID, I got the Calm app on my phone, and I got a lifetime subscription to the Calm app. And it's a meditative practice, takes 10 to 15 minutes. And every morning, and one of the things we focus on is just our breath. It's real hard to say don't focus on anything or clear your mind, right? That doesn't work. Our minds need to be thinking about something. In this case, I'm going to focus on my breath. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the feeling of the breath leaving my lips, feeling of my lungs being full of the air, focus on the breath on my lips again, and then the feeling of my lips, closed or pursed, waiting on my next breath. That's going to be my focus. So step one was box breathing. Step two was focusing on my breath, and then step three was to repeat a mantra. And I have a few mantras that I use, in the specific mantra honestly I don't think matters. But the three that I kind of stick with, number one is this too shall pass. And that's just a reminder, whether it's good, whether it's bad, right? This too shall pass. The second is I am loved. Just repeating over and over, I am loved. And the third, repeating I am worthy. Repeating just over and over, I am worthy. I am loved and I am worthy. I made some posters and put them up in the shower rooms. So if you ever take a shower at the gym, you'll see those up there.
I did see those the other day. I was in there and I was like, these are great.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
we're just trying to speak truth to ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
So
I love it.
in the immediacy, those are the three things that I'm focused on.
Okay. Gotcha. So how long a period of a time, how long were you breathing? How long were you focusing on your breathing? Like,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
this like a,
it was in the early morning, so I wasn't really keeping track of on my watch, but I would say 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm laying down in bed when I'm going through this 5 to 10 minutes, and then I went to sleep, woke up again a little bit later, having another panic attack. Did that
hmm,
about 3 or 4 times before my alarm actually went off. You can imagine I did not sleep well last night. And then I woke
mhm.
up and immediately went into panic attack mode again, and followed these steps and settled it down. And I haven't had one for the rest of the day. So I've been dealing with, keeping the panic attacks at bay at this point.
Okay. So things like what would you do to keep the panic attack at bay? Like
Yeah.
avoid
So
caffeine?
one of them is ice
Drink.
water. I
Okay.
want to sip on ice water,
Okay.
which is you'll notice this is the first podcast we've done where I've had water during the podcast, and it's because I don't want to have a panic attack during the podcast.
What
So,
about like hot tea or something?
yes, yeah. So those relaxation techniques that help
Mhm.
you. For me, it's drinking hot tea, sipping, right? We're not really drinking, but sipping hot tea. So I would say 3 things I've done today to not have another panic attack. 1 is sip ice water. 2 is I have a playlist, a Spotify playlist called All Day Every Day, which I did not design to combat panic attacks, but came in very handy, which are a list of my all-time favorite songs. That
Gotcha.
cheerful, happy, not work. These are not the songs when you have a 3-minute Metcon, right? And that need, or you're setting a PR on your clean and jerk. This is not that kind of music. This is fun, happy, cheerful music that you love listening to.
Is Hootie and the Blowfish on there?
Song number 1, Hold My Hand. Thank you for asking. Followed up by Ice Ice Baby, which is song number 2. Panic at the Disco. What's the high? Panic at the Disco is on the playlist.
Awesome.
Yeah, Aerosmith's Dream On's on the playlist.
Okay. Okay. Now you're talking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I got all kinds of songs on this playlist, but every song makes me feel good. Every song makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing. So sipping ice water, and again, sipping, not gulping, but sipping ice water. I've got my all day, every day playlist, and then my third is taking walks outside.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, you live out in the country. I mean, you
I
can't get better than that.
I know you cannot. I go out there. I literally walk around barefoot in the grass right here in the back. I'm pointing to my backyard right now. Or I'll just walk up and down the lane and I'll have my music on. It's not Hootie and the Blowfish, I can assure you, but I'll have my headphones in and listen to my music, and that is the most wonderful thing, and it is so relaxing. So yeah, moving and listening to something, and I think a lot of people can relate to waking up in the middle of the night and maybe not necessarily the panic attack, but then your head starts swimming with all of these ideas and thoughts and to-do list.
Yeah,
So the breathing, what you're saying, comes in super handy for just people who are waking up who can't settle their brain.
yeah.
So very nice. I hope that your day gets better. I really hope you're feeling better, and I'm glad you shared this with us. I think a lot of people can benefit from this information. So
I hope so. I hope so. In the least, please know if you get overwhelmed or feel overwhelmed, you're not alone. I'm at least on the list with you.
yeah, and you're the healthiest guy we know. So come on.
Maybe. Okay, well,
Well,
thank you,
thanks
Clancy.
for sharing.
Yep,
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate you. I hope you feel better, and go listen to Hootie.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
You can get every episode of Busy People Getting Fit wherever you listen to your podcast or on YouTube. You can also reach us at busypeoplegettingfit.com. Until next time, thank you for listening.